quer se tornar um especialista em conserto de celulares e conquistar uma nova carreira de sucesso, aprenda passo a passo todas as técnicas necessárias para consertar os mais diversos modelos de celulares. Clique.
I think there was just too much on his shoulders.
You tell us how old you are and where you're from.
I'm 15, I'm from Brooklyn.
He is 15 years old and he is from Brooklyn. All right? Will you show your headline to camera 3 and to Dick Clark, because we'll make him go to work on you. It says, teenager strategy defeats all comers.
This strategy, did it involve finances?
No.
Did you have any help?
No.
Did it all by yourself? Did it make people happy?
Made me happy.
This young man's name is Bobby Fischer, and already he is the United States chess champion. He is 15 years old and he has defeated the Masters. He is the United States champion in chess.
I met Bobby when I was 14 and he was 8 in one of the chess clubs in Manhattan. He was the youngest kid around. He was unassuming. He was well-mannered. He was a nice kid. His mother, Regina, she was a woman who had to work 2 jobs, single mom, supporting 2 children, Bobby and Joan.
Regina was really the genius of the family. She spoke quite a number of languages, including Russian. She worked as a telegraph operator, a nurse, a welder. She actually got a PhD in hematology as well.
She was an activist. She was a communist. And the FBI files on her are quite extensive.
His mother was hounded by the FBI because they thought she was possibly a Soviet spy. This was a period when Jew and communists were equated. So his mother denied his Jewishness.
His mother told him if he would be sitting on the stoop at 560 Lincoln Place, apartment 4Q, and somebody would come up to him and ask him a question, he would say, "I have nothing to say to you." That was the proper answer that his mother told him to say.
You're from Brooklyn originally?
Chicago, well, born in Chicago. Moved to Brooklyn when I was about 6. I lived on the coast.
Were you playing chess by then?
No, I learned in New York, yeah.
At what age?
6.
When did you start to get serious about chess?
Well, when I was maybe 7.
If you can think back to your childhood and all the things you did after school and on the weekends, and imagine just filling all that in with chess study, chess lessons, chess practice, chess.
A diversão em família está completa com os brinquedos de Sonic 3 no Mac Lanche Feliz.
Competition.
Sure, Bobby Fischer starts with a very exceptional mind. But genius is not only about a particular innate gift for X. Genius is about a desire to do X. It's about a willingness to sacrifice. It's about an ability to develop that kind of obsessive interest in perfecting one's ability to do some task. People who studied expertise have looked at classical music composers, at surgeons, at chess players, interested in figuring out what do high achievers have in common. They have always, almost without exception, put in 10,000 hours of deliberate practice first.
From very young, he was really living for chess. Even when he was eating, he would always have a chess board with him and study new variations.
That love component is such an enormous part of the achievement of any kind of genius, because if it's dutiful, there's no way you can be that obsessive about it. There was nothing else he would rather do.
I started playing games with myself. I would make the white moves and the black moves, and just defending his pawn, play through the whole game, and eventually I would checkmate the other guy. I almost always won.
White comes out with a knight. Now he took the bishop. Brown.
Then my mother started to get worried that it wasn't healthy to playing chess by myself all the time.
Now Black surprised him with this.
Regina was so worried that she decided to take him to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist said, "Don't worry, there are worse things to be obsessed by than chess."
Everybody said to him, "What happened?" And he said, "One day I just got good." He was suddenly out of everyone else's league, and everybody knew it.
Fischer would open a chess magazine, okay, like this. He would open it like this. He would say, okay, here, let's see, here, okay, here, okay, here. Now, it looks like he's just like looking at the pictures, right? That's what you think he's doing. No, he's not doing it. He's playing through the entire game in his head in a few seconds. Every move.
He went from being my peer in chess to being the United States chess champion. A quantum leap.
That's when he first became famous. This is 1958. No chess player ever made much money in those days. And my father basically arranged an exhibition tour for him in which he went from city to city playing anywhere from 40 to 80 people at a time. And I don't know how much he got then, maybe $5 a board.
Regina decided that this was a way to the big time. She'd call me up and say, "I want Bobby to go on Channel 2 on Sunday, and he won't do it if I ask him, so I want you to tell him." He just wanted to learn the game, and she really wanted him to get publicity.
Fame is definitely a mixed blessing, and almost everybody would admit that at some point in their life they wish they had it. Once it starts, it's fun, and the fun quickly wears off when you want to be alone, private and public, if that's ever possible. But also it's horrendous on the psyche for the young, because it totally distorts their world.
He had all these people around who really wanted a piece of him. If they only wanted to be in his glow. And people have all kinds of motives, not always in his favor. They're trying to make money out of him. They're trying to be associated with him. They're talking behind his back. He couldn't stand any of that. Particularly, he couldn't stand the press because he was such an individual. He was an ideal object for caricature.
You watch television? No, not much. Very rarely.
Why?
I don't know. I read that you get little radiation from it. I don't know. I've talked with a few scientist friends of mine.